Welcome viewers. In this session, we will discuss the project management with PRINCE2. We will cover the projects, project management and project managers, project variables, different project context, project management standards, and applying PRINCE2. First, we will see that what is a project under project management with PRINCE2. What do you think that what is the definition of project? So project is a temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to an agreed business case. So from the definition, we know that the key challenge to the organizations in today's world is to succeed in balancing two parallel. These are, one is maintain the current business operation. That means maintain profitability, service quality, customer relationships, brand loyalty, productivity, market confidence, which we term as business as usual. That means existing running business. And second point is transform business operation in order to survive and compete in the future. That means looking forward and deciding how business change can be introduced to best impact the organization. So one is running part, and we need to and another part is considering the future in mind. So as the pace of change, that means technology, business, social, regulatory accelerators, and the penalties of failing to adapt to change become more evident. So the focus of management attention is inevitably moving to achieve a balance between business as usual and the business change. So projects are means by which we introduce change, and although many of the skills are required are the same, there are some crucial difference between managing business as usual and managing project work. So from the definition of project, we see some characteristics of project work that distinguish it from the business as usual. What are those? One is change. So projects are the means by which we introduce change. Next is temporary. So as the definition of project states, so projects are temporary in nature. When the desired change has been implemented, so business as usual resumes in the new form and the need for the project is removed. So project should have a defined start and a defined end. Then next part is cross-functional. So a project involves a team of people with different skills working together on a temporary basis to introduce the change that will impact others outside the team. So projects often cross the normal functional divisions within an organization and sometimes span entirely different organizations. So this frequently causes stresses and a strain both within the organization and between them. So for example, between customers and suppliers. So each has a different perspective and motivation to get involved in this change. Another part is unique. So every project is unique. So an organization may undertake many similar projects and establish a familiar, proven pattern of projects activity. And in this case, unique in some way. So a different team, a different customer, a different location, a different time. So all these factors combine to make every project unique. Another part is uncertainty. The characteristics already listed into threats and opportunities, and typically we encounter in the course of business as usual. So projects are more risky. Projects come in all shapes and sizes. An organization may be undertaking an IT project to deliver improved system required to manage the business. Another organization may be undertaking a clinical research project in order to bring a new drug to the market. And a third organization may be managing an event. So these are different types of projects we just discussed. So furthermore, the environment within which the project is being managed may influence how it is started up, delivered, assured, and closed. So we discussed the definition of project and its characteristics. Now the next part is what is project management? So project management is the planning, delegating, monitoring, and control of all the aspects of the project and the motivation of those involved to achieve the project objectives within the expected performance targets for time, cost, quality, scope, benefits, and risk. For example, a new house is completed by creating drawings, foundation, floors, walls, windows, roof, plumbing, wiring, and connected services. So none of this is project management. So why do we need project management at all? The purpose of project management is to keep control over the specialist work required to create the project product, or to continue the house stat analogy, to make sure that the ruling contractor does not arrive before the walls are built. So the project management guides that which activity can be done in which time, and sequentially, some of the cases parallelly. So additionally, given the projects how we introduce a change, and that the project work entails a higher degree of risk than many other business activities. So it follows implementing a secure, consistent, well-proven approach to project management is a valuable business investment. So what things we need to control, or we wish to control here? So there are 6 variables. We call it project variables, any project. So these are therefore 6 aspects of project performance to be managed. So what are those? Number one is cost. The project has to be affordable, and though we may start out with a particular budget in mind, there will be many factors which can lead to overspending and perhaps some opportunities to cut costs. So next part is time scales. So closely linked to the cost, and probably one of the questions project managers are most frequently asked, when it will be finished. Next is quality. Finishing on time and within budget is not much consolation if the result of the project does not work. In PRINCE2 terms, the project product must be fit for purpose. Next part is scope. Exactly what will be the project delivered. Without knowing it, the various parties involved in the project can very often be talking at cross purposes and about this. The customer may assume, instance, that a fitted kitchen or bathroom is included in the price of the house, whereas the supplier views these as extras. So on large scale projects, scope definition is much more important and complex. So there must be agreement on the project scope, and the project manager needs to have a sufficient understanding of what within the project scope. Next part is benefits. So perhaps most the overlooked question, why we are doing this? Because it is not enough to build the house successfully in on time within budget and quality specification. We cannot sell or rent at a or live it happily. The project manager has to have a clear understanding of the purpose of the project as an investment, and make sure that project delivers consistent with achieving the desired return. The next part is risk. So all project incurs risk, but exactly how much risk we are prepared to accept. Should we build the house near the site of a disused mine, which may do subsidence? So these 6 variables we discussed. And what does project manager do? So what we discussed earlier, that in order to achieve control over everything, there must be a plan. The project manager, who is responsible for planning the sequence of the activities to build the house, for example. So plan is the first thing. It may be possible to build the house yourself, but being the project manager implies that you delegate some of the work to the others. So after plan, the next part is delegate, and then monitor whether it is working fine, and then control if needed. So within the delegated work, the aim is that should go according to plan, but we cannot say rely on this plan in this case. It is the project manager's responsibility to monitor how well the work is in progress, which is in a plan. So of course, if the work does not go according to the plan, the project manager has to something about it. So exert control even if the work is going well. So the key message in this case, that one of the aim of PRINCE2 is to make the right information available at the right time for the right people to make the right decision about the project. Those decisions include whether to take any corrective action or implement measures to improve performance. So next part is projects in context. So PRINCE2 assume that there will be a customer who will specify the desired result and usually pay for the project, and the supplier who will provide the resources and any skills to deliver that result. So PRINCE2 refers to the organization that commissions the project as corporate program management, or the customer, or in short term you can call CPC. So PRINCE2 refers to a supplier as the person, group, or group responsible for the supply of the project specialist product. So projects can exist within the context, and there may be a standalone if you see the diagram here, the portfolio has different program. A program has program A, program B, and then sub portfolio, a standalone project, and other activities. So under each of the program, there will be multiple projects, and even the projects can be standalone projects under the portfolio. So standalone projects, we means that projects can exist as standalone entities within an organization and outside the governance structures. And projects within programs, what is program? Uh, it's a good question. So program is a temporary structure designed to lead multiple interrelated projects and other work in order to progressively achieve outcomes of benefit for one or more organizations. So a project may be a part of the program, and the program manager may commission a project to enable deliver the or outputs that contributes to some of the program's expected outcomes. The project will be impacted by the program's approach to governance, its structure, and its reporting requirements. So projects within a portfolio. So what is portfolio? The totality of an organization's investment, what we see earlier, in the changes required to achieve the strategic objectives. So corporate organizational structures can vary from traditional functional structures to project focus corporate organizations. In the traditional functional structure, staff are organized by type of work. In contrast, the standard practice in project focus corporate organization is to work with the project teams. And projects within a in a commercial environment. So if the project is being run to deliver to a specific set of customer requirement, the customer may have entered into commercial relation with the supplier in the formal tender. The organization delivering the project with the supplier will do in order to satisfy a particular need identified by the customer. The contract between the parties set out how the customer and the supplier will work together to deliver the project, but the rights and duties covered by the agreement may constrain how a project manager manages the projects. So the customer may break the work down into one or more elements. In a commercial environment, sometimes the hierarchies of the commercial relationship between suppliers. So there are several customers or supplier organization. So some example like joint ventures, collaborative research, intergovernmental projects, interagency projects, bidding consortium, and alliance contracting partnerships. So when managing the projects in a commercial environment, consider there may be multiple sets of reasons for undertaking the project, like business case, the management system, governance, organizational structure, delivery approach, corporate culture. So further advice is to tailoring Prince2 in a commercial environment can be uh, discussed through overall discussion. So applying Prince2. So we discussed first what is the definition of project, then what is the project management, and then how the project managers can control the projects, what are the project variables, and finally when applying Prince2, so Prince2 international standard and bodies of knowledge. So standard bodies, rules, guidelines, or characteristics that can be used consistently to ensure that materials, products, process, and services are fit for their purpose. So it does not, however, state how the activities should be carried out to achieve this. So a method such as Prince2 provides not only a set of activities to be done, but also techniques for undertaking these activities. So a body of knowledge looks at what a competent project manager should know and focuses on how it can do it. So Prince2 method exists within the context of a number of standards and bodies of knowledge, including ISO 21500 2020 guidance on project management, and then BS 6079-2019 project management principles and guidance for the project management of projects. Say guide to project management body of knowledge, PM book guide 6th edition, project management still 2017. Then APM body of knowledge association for project management 2019. The IPMA individual competence business baseline for project management 4th version ICB4, and inventory of competences for individuals to use in a career development, certification, training, education, consulting, research, and more international project management association 2018. So when designing and embedding in the project management method based on the Prince2, An organization needs to be aware that these such standards and bodies should apply them in a manner which is appropriate to this business. So the PRINCE2 and commissioning organization standard. So an organization will typically develop values, principles, policies, standards, and processes that fit for purpose. A program is defines strategies in a plan which must ensure that the program's vision and goals align with those organization. And project commission by a program will typically inherit program strategies and may lead to replace the project's approach to quality management, risk management, etc., and tailoring them as appropriate. So if the project is commissioned by a customer from outside the project organization, then the mandate may require some of the customer standard or methods. So the project manager may need to tailor the project to meet the standards, but within the guideline of the project organization method. It will be recorded in the project initiation document or PID. This we will discuss later on. And we are almost coming to the final part of this session. So PRINCE2 and the delivery approach, the project approach in a way which work the project will be delivered, and what would be the delivery approaches, which are the specialist products approaches used by the work package to create the products. So one is at a waterfall approach where each of the delivery steps need to create the product text in a construction project where requirement gathering and design takes place before the building. So sequential case. And one is agile approach, but not exclusively for software development where requirements gathering, design, some of the thing iteratively or parallelly throughout the projects. So there are typically a number of delivery steps within the delivery approach. So the application of PRINCE2 can be different depending on which delivery approach is used. So key message here, PRINCE2 Agile records Agile as a temporary family of behaviors, concept, frameworks, or techniques. And measures of success. So this is important. That traditional approach in measuring time, cost, and quality may have place, but the best way to summarize the project status at a point of time is to identify the key performance indicator or KPI. So when designing KPI, a balance should be struck between quality and quantitative measures. So the number of KPI should be balanced to create information that is necessary and sufficient. The key message, objectives of what the project needs to achieve, whereas KPI are the measures that indicate whether or not progress is being made towards the achieving the objectives. So what are lagging and leading indicators? So lagging indicators says measure performance and follows events and allow management to track how well actual performance matches. An example could be number of unexpected error report after a particular software release. And what is leading indicators? Measures progress towards event and allow management to track whether on course to achieve the expected performance. For example, would be persistent failure of a supplier to meet quality requirements early in the projects. The KPI should be aligned with the quality expectation and acceptance criteria defined in the project product description. We will discuss it later on. And PRINCE2 organization capability. So in generally recognize an organization demonstrate higher levels of project management capability can be demonstrated increases the business performance through the effective use of the project management methods such as PRINCE2 maturity models such as XLS, Limited portfolio, program, and project management maturity model. So P3M3 characteristic organization maturity in the 5-point scale. The level 1 is awareness of process, level 2 is repeatable process, level 3 is defined process, level 4 managed process, and level 5 is optimized process. So organization assessed at level 3 would typically, that in defined process, ensure that the project manager such as PRINCE2 is consistently deployed and used by all projects. So in this session, we discussed the project management. Hopefully you enjoy the session. And next, we will discuss the principles of project of PRINCE2. Thanks for watching.